intros, I usually turn off my fan, but I'm gonna leave it on just for the intro because, guys, it is so goddamn hot in my room. I don't know why. I'm like sweating balls, like I'm gonna explode. In this alternate timeline, Shanks would have failed to stop Kaido, leading to him arriving around as Koby tries stopping the war. And before Akainu thinks of throwing an attack at Koby, he sees a blue dragon in the sky. And right next to him, there would be a black pterodactyl of some kind. It'd be none other than Kaido's right-hand man, King. Now, it's implied that King is the only one who went to Marineford, or at least has info about him accompanying Kaido at Marineford. And so, for that reason, I'm going to be saying it's currently only Kaido and King, along with a lot of fodder beast pirates attending Marineford. And I feel like this makes sense as Queen has some type of authority in Wano, so go and cry me a river, I really don't care. And besides, all we really need is just Kaido and King anyway. Kaido would scream out for Whitebeard only to learn of his death, enraging the Yonko and immediately causing him to blast fire down at Marineford. Luckily, Aokiji would move in, just barely blocking the flames with his ice, while Kizaru begins to shoot multiple beams of light towards his way. However, King would intervene, blasting with his own projectiles, engaging in a battle with Kizaru while Kaido is just fuming. Kaido, after seeing his fire doing absolutely nothing, would decide to drop down from the sky in base like Kratos and ask who's the man responsible for Whitebeard's death. Akainu would say how he'd like to claim responsibility, however it was one of his own, which just goes to show how weak he was. Kaido, hearing this, would laugh, saying how it's funny how someone so weak could speak on someone like Whitebeard like that. The two forces then approach one another, with Akainu going in for the first hit. Kaido in his base would be taken aback by this, as Akainu's attack actually inflicted some damage onto him. But the main thing he's feeling is excitement, meanwhile Akainu is about to face fear. Kaido, seeing Akainu being a worthy opponent, would give him the respect and tap into his hybrid form, going in for a full-powered thunderclump. Akainu attempts to throw the same attack he threw at Whitebeard's face, but Kaido would be too fast for Akainu, being smacked across Marineford before even fully forming the attack. Akainu, before crashing into anything, would be saved by Aokiji, who would tell Akainu that they're going to need to work together in order to take down the world's strongest creature. As that's happening, King would manage to seemingly cut off Kizaru's arm, but it's revealed Kizaru just turns into light at the last second to troll him and then kick him into the ground. King and Marco, regardless of who you think is above who, are relative to one another, but the difference here is that King doesn't have Marco's regen. So Kizaru's attacks are obviously going to be doing far more permanent damage than when he fought Marco. And Marco couldn't even scratch bro, meanwhile can draw blood from King, so it's not really looking good for King. So unfortunately, Kaido's right-hand man falls to Kizaru, leading into all the Admirals now facing off against Kaido. However, Akainu is already injured as it is, plus Kaido is already being implied to be a way bigger threat than the Admirals at the start of Rooftop, along with also having scaling to Shanks, who scales to a stronger Whitebeard. And so with this, I feel like Akainu is more than likely going down after that hit from Kaido, and if not from that, then by the time Kizaru beats King, Akainu is probably passing out, leading into Kaido 2v1ing Kizaru and Aokiji. Now, with Kaido scaling already above Akainu and these two being inferior to Akainu, I feel like them working together would balance it out, making this a pretty even match. However, unfortunately for the Admirals, we do know that Kaido becomes more powerful when backed into a corner thanks to Haki Bloom, and you could apply this to the Admirals maybe, but I don't think so, as Kaido would definitely be the one with the disadvantage and more than likely to adapt than these two. And with Kaido already having that narrative implication being above the Admirals at Marineford at the start of Rooftop and then adapting, he'd probably just reach the level of where he was at the end of Wano, basically meaning that Aokiji and Kizaru are fucked. As Kaido is slowly but surely overcoming the Ice and Light duo and is about to deal the finishing blow, we have Blackbeard wanting to get into the mix of things but is stopped by Sengoku and Garp. Instead of Shanks stopping the whole war, it's these two attempting to stop it due to both sides losing a lot already, and if this gets carried on, Whitebeard and Ace won't be the only legends who die today. Now, Kaido could keep on fighting, but he knows that this probably wouldn't be the smartest idea, especially with King being down. Plus, if he were to actually keep going, I do think Garp or Mihawk would probably be where he stops. So either he goes away, which would keep the timeline safe, or Kaido eventually kills Kizaru and Aokiji, but not without taking his own life in the process. I think I'll just go with the first option, that way the story of One Piece stays intact, as this video is just basically me explaining Kaido versus the Admirals. And also, I did use some of the panels of that fan manga where What If Kaido Went to Marineford. I'll be linking that in the description as well. Shoutouts to the creator of that. And yeah, this is basically Kaido versus the Fraud Admirals. Have a nice rest of the day.